All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. We are at episode 25 of the Ninja Wealth Exchange here today. Joined by Johnny, of course, my co-host. How you doing, Johnny?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for asking. 25th 25th episode, man. So I'm super excited. For some people it takes forever to get here, and it did seem like it took forever, but we're here, so that's what counts.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's not easy putting out 25 of these. Consider we did skip a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Memorial Weekend it is, and we're here recording our podcast here. So we got a lot of things going on in the real estate world right now. Lots of craziness, right? We were just talking about some MLS beef with Zillow.
Hmm. Hmm.
But we're not here to talk about the real estate agent business, the things in the back here. So we're really trying to, inform you guys, consumers, about what's happening out there. So, what are you seeing out there in the real estate market? I mean, there's a lot of stories, headlines, noise. What kind of headlines are you seeing?
Dude, I mean, I'm seeing all kinds of headlines. I'm seeing stuff like interest rates is going to be super high, and then I'm also seeing interest rates are going to drop, right? Because you
Really?
have the change in the Fed guy, and then now you got it like inflation increasing. There's like so much going on. In addition to that, you got economic uncertainties. You got people telling you that foreclosures are coming. There's all kind of news out there, so much noise, job loss to global crisis to, I mean, you name it. There's just so much going on. But what I do know, being in the industry, is that there are some changes that have taken place recently, and I think it could be good or bad for you. And I think that some people will take this as an opportunity, other people will take it in a different direction. So, what have you been hearing, man?
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of the same things, right? I mean, at the beginning of the year, right, when we did our predictions, a lot of people predicted that the rates through 2026 would be like closer to 6%. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it did get there. It did get there a lot faster than we expected, right?
Yep. Yep.
So I think it hit that mark around end of February, late February, right? It got
Yeah.
below that 6 mark. Everything was looking great. Buyers are coming out of the woodwork, and applications were being filled out like crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then came March, right? And in the middle of
Yeah.
March, somewhere in there, all of a sudden this conflict in the Middle East came up, and
Yeah. Yeah.
rates started ticking up along with gas
Yeah.
prices, right? And
Yep.
man, now I'm seeing all sorts of headlines just like you. I'm seeing like, yeah, foreclosure waves are coming. Supposedly the crash is coming. Don't buy, right? So, and like you said, there is a new Fed chair coming. Um,
Mm-hmm.
can
Mm-hmm.
he actually do wave a magic wand and make the rates go down? No, I don't think so, right? I,
I mean, it's tough. It's a tough place to be in as the Fed chair, right?
so,
I mean, the thing is that what we know, or what I know anyways, is that from the finance perspective, because we're both in the mortgage industry, we're seeing rates increase, right? That usually means that banks and institutional lenders are um expecting that the rates will increase, right? And so now it doesn't say that they're right? Because there's been times where they thought it was going to increase, and they increased their rates, and then when the Fed meeting came out, you've seen a drop in interest rates because the Fed's actually either held steady or reduced the rates, right? So we don't know exactly what the new guy's going to do. However, right now, like I just recently quoted someone, and I quoted at a 6.5, and then I was looking, and the following day it was like at 6.75, and I was like, man, if you haven't locked in already, um now might be a good time.
yeah, yeah,
If you can't deal with the volatility, right?
right. If you can't deal with the ups and downs, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so yeah, kind of like we mentioned earlier, like in February is as low as 5.8, and just recently now, I mean, we're quoting 6.75. So
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
it's almost a full point increase, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
crazy. It's
yeah,
crazy. In less than a quarter, right? Or approximately a quarter of the year, you saw the rates change. We
yeah,
saw them go up a few years ago after COVID, right? But we thought that this was coming to a norm. At least I thought it was, and I even thought that the rates will go down. The expectation is that the new guy comes in, rates will go down. But there's just too much. Like I looked at inflations recently, and inflation numbers
mhm,
are high. So what do you do,
right.
right?
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna have a quite the job that he's inheriting, right? So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's not the full story though, right? I mean,
No.
like we saw already, the rates can drop quickly and they can also go up just as fast. So who's to say that they won't come down quickly? Especially if there's some kind of resolution that does happen pretty soon here in the global crisis. If we can somehow ease energy costs, right, and global
Yeah.
tensions, things
Yeah.
could improve drastically. Who knows, right? So,
I mean, I heard an MOU was issued recently, so that was just on the news or something,
oh, what is that?
saying
What
that
is
they
MOU?
kind of came into an agreement or an understanding, right?
Oh, really?
Memorandum of understanding, yeah,
Really
MOU. So, um, yeah,
interesting.
I think hopefully they can come up with a solution and they can open back up the strait. They can decrease the prices of gas, which then decreases the price of everything else. By the way, I just went and did an oil change and it was over $100. And I was like, holy, that's expensive. It's like
Like
150 bucks.
full synthetic or regular?
So my car does take synthetic, right? It's a 2021 Toyota
Okay,
Camry. That's what I
fantastic.
drive. I don't drive the Tundra, right?
Not like me.
Oh.
Yeah, me. All right. No, yeah, yeah. That's the other thing I heard is that petroleum or, right, car oil, right, is the cost of
Mhm.
that to go up, right? So that's what I've been hearing as well. So, but of course, these aren't the full stories. I mean, can how's inventory doing?
Inventory. So, my market specifically is changing, right? So,
Mhm,
what
mhm,
I'm seeing is that there's more inventory, right? There's I know the national average year over year says that, increased by 4.2%. However, like in my market specifically, I've been seeing a larger increase. I'm in the Twin Cities, which is Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is a metro area. So we're seeing an increase in inventory, which also means that prices are coming down a little bit, right? So
mm, mm.
I think it's probably a good time to look at prices, like everybody, I don't always agree with, date the rate and marry the house rate. But I mean, if the price is right,
Yeah, I mean, speaking of prices, though, I mean, nationwide, the median price is up actually, 417,700,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm.
So even with all the things going on, I mean, there isn't really a price crash, right? Anything to
No.
it actually, um,
No, there's even here in the Twin Cities, prices have gone down a little bit, but they
mhm,
they aren't crashing prices, right? They're just a reduction, a small
yep,
reduction, what we would probably consider rebalancing, right?
yeah,
So, it and it I my thoughts are is that it's at least affordable here, right? Where there are some cities that, the houses just aren't technically affordable anymore.
yeah, yeah. So you mentioned the word rebalancing. I mean, with inventory stacking up again, right?
Mm,
We're just kind of getting back to a balanced market. So for people out there who are like all like worried about a crash, I mean, remember like 2008, around then, there was millions of homes on the inventory, right? Like
mhm,
they
mhm.
were just like a fire sale, right?
Yeah.
That's not the same thing that's happening here right now.
No, no. I mean, it's like I said on the last podcast, I believe it was the last podcast or one before it. Um, the banks, even if they had a ton of foreclosures, which they don't, right? They
Mhm,
don't have a ton of foreclosures. There are more foreclosures now, but there's not anything close to what we saw in 2008, 2009. Um,
mhm,
even if we had it 2008, 2009, it's more controlled now, right? The releasing of properties will not be released massively. And so you probably won't see a dramatic shift like you did in 2008, 2009. So if you're waiting for 2008, 2009 numbers, yeah, I think in my opinion, you could probably forget about it.
I mean, you mentioned you're seeing some foreclosures. I mean, can you kind of put a number on that? Like exactly out of all the listings that you're looking at, how many are you seeing that are actually like listed as, hey, this is a foreclosure?
So, when I say we're seeing foreclosures, like that's on the investment side, right? So,
Okay.
my
Gotcha.
wholesale guys, they're always chasing after, properties and everything like that. And we've seen an increase, right, of people who has lost their job, and and then they lost their job like a year ago, and they're finally now thinking about, doing
Mhm.
something different. And so we're seeing a little bit more properties on that side. But I'm going to be honest, on the client side, I'm not seeing any foreclosures, right? All of my
Okay.
clients are looking at the really, really nice houses, right? And a lot of the houses and in the market with the numbers that I'm trying to hit, right? Most of my clients aren't looking at foreclosures. They're not looking at, properties that are going under. And, with equity being so high right now, I don't see that even if foreclosures came, right, people could probably sell it a little undervalue and still make their money and pay off their mortgage, right? So I don't think it's going to be the same type of foreclosure as in 2008, 2009, because back then the value dropped so significantly that people were underwater. The values increased so fast, so high that everybody became underwater. But right now, because the different things that were put into place, plus like back then we were doing, I talked about it before, 125% LTV, right, loan to value. So
Yeah.
when you're doing that kind of stuff, you see a negative equity on as soon as they buy it, the house got negative equity, right? So of course they're gonna drop it. But right now, if you have a house and even if you're not paying on time and you got like, I don't know, minimum 40% equity, you're probably
Mhm.
just gonna throw it on the market, put it listed under a lower price, and you'll sell it before it actually goes through foreclosure, right? So,
Yeah. No, those are
um,
really good points.
yeah,
Yeah. So definitely. So I mean, just to back a little bit to clear things up for people watching, I mean, so you mentioned more like you and the investors, your investor friends, you guys are seeing a lot more pre-foreclosure activity. Um,
correct.
right?
Sorry, yeah,
Where
yeah,
homes are getting like homeowners are seeing judgments or letters from their either
mhm,
servicer or even from the local county that hey, you're in foreclosure or pre-foreclosure, right? Um, so
correct, yeah,
yeah. Yeah. On the retail side, for me, I have been seeing a few that hit like actual foreclosures that are being listed by lenders, right? I have seen a few, and by a few, I mean like probably one out of 1,000 is like a foreclosure, right? Of
okay,
listing, right? Very
mhm,
few, very few. And the people who are the buyers who remember 2008, 2012, whatever, it's not the same type of foreclosure, right? Um,
mm,
People still
completely,
consider foreclosure as a discount property, as a deal, right? Like, oh, let me
mhm,
send me some foreclosures. I want to buy a deal. It's not like that anymore. Banks understand the situation right now, right? We're still very low
mhm,
inventory overall. Banks are not trying to lose money. They're listing these foreclosures, um, whether it's in good condition or bad condition. They're listing them pretty
at
close to
value.
retail at value, right? And it's terrible. And I'm like, "No, this is not selling." And I've seen it where banks will hold and they will sit on these things for months, like 6
Mhm,
months, year before they even cut the price, right? I mean, they'll cut it
yeah,
slowly. Every quarter, whatever, the disposition manager will cut it like 10,000 or whatever. Um, but yeah, they're not really putting these things on fire sale anymore like they were, right? Because like you mentioned
mhm,
earlier,
mhm,
there's not a lot of them, right? And so they're really taking their sweet time with that. So it is a completely different situation as 2008. The other thing is, not a lot of people know it, right? But after 2008, obviously a lot of changes happened in the financial pre-approval process, right? People actually looked at people's credit scores now. Imagine that. Um, and the majority of homeowners out there that have a mortgage, right?
they actually ask for asset documents and income documents.
Yeah, they actually run their credit now.
Yeah.
Who would have thought of that, right? But the amount of people out there with a mortgage, right, and they have their loan, um, their credit score, I think what something like 70% is over 700, right, in credit score. Um, that's really high, right? That means like a lot of people out there
Right.
with mortgages actually have really good credit. So
Mhm.
uh, it's not like you said back in 2008 they had the ninja loans, right? No job, no income,
Right.
no assets, right? You're approved.
Right.
It's not like
Exactly.
that anymore, right? So yes, completely different, and foreclosures are completely different too. So all these articles that are saying waves of foreclosure are coming. I'm not sure if I would put a lot of weight into that or the crash itself, because again, we are very low in inventory. Um, and just to give people an idea, I mean, in the real estate agent side, we used to sell every year. It was around 6 million to 8 million homes a year, right? That was
Mhm.
kind of like pre-COVID, or right around 2021, right after that was like the last high year of sales. After that, we've been averaging like close to 4 million sales per year only. And I remember 2021, it was so easy to sell a house, like as an agent. Pretty much, if you had a buyer who was willing to bid and compete, they were going to get a house, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Hopefully, right? Because it was a bananas market back then. Like it took no skill, literally, to sell a home. um,
Yeah.
but then, as rates shot up, it really got tough. I mean, and
Mhm.
inventory went down. So we were only selling 4 million homes a year, and so as you can imagine, there's like 1.5 million real estate agents in the business, right? Um, and if you're selling 2 million less homes, that means a whole lot of agents aren't selling. So,
Yeah, they actually said that if you are selling 2 houses a year, you are above average as a realtor,
yeah, you're in the
like, based
70
on
percentile.
statistics. Exactly,
Right. You're
exactly.
in the
That's
70
crazy.
percentile.
That's
That is
insane.
crazy, yeah. But 2 houses a year, man, you're not making your ends meet.
You're part-time. Yeah, yeah, you're part-time. You're not doing it full-time.
So
I'd like to add, right? So while you were talking, I
mhm.
looked up the foreclosures in the state of Minnesota. There's
Okay.
only 46.
Oh, wow.
That's across the whole entire state, right?
That's crazy.
There's only
That's
46. So,
Yeah.
foreclosures on the market, that's why I'm not seeing any of it, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
But I can definitely say that, there has been, as far as I can see, a little bit of a decrease in price, right?
Okay. A
Meaning,
little bit of
meaning,
softening.
yeah, they're softening. Like, so in the Twin Cities here, the homes are still coming out new at value, and then the offers that they're receiving are a little under, right?
Mm.
So we
Alright.
are kind of seeing, yeah, a little bit of a shift, but it's small, right? Like 46 out of a whole entire state where we have like 40,000 transactions happening a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
not
a
much.
significant, yeah. Alright, so, yeah, let's move on to talk a little bit more local, right? 'Cause, we both know real estate is local, sometimes even hyper
Mhm,
local,
mhm.
meaning, neighborhood to neighborhood, right? So, what are you seeing in your market of the Twin Cities right now?
Yeah, so in the Twin Cities is a pretty decent sized market, right? And so we have some micro markets inside of the Twin Cities, but I'll say it like this. Across the Twin Cities, on average, the market price has decreased by about 2%, right? So the median price have come down to 392-ish, right? Right around that 392 mark. The days on the market has also increased, right? So we have days on the market averaging at about 57 days, right? Like I would say even 2 months ago, we were at like less than 45 days, right? So that is an increase in days on the market. Um, the number of listings or new homes showing up has also increased, right? So in the Twin Cities, we saw a 8% increase on new listings year over year, and then for pending sale, Like so new listings and pending sales, like you got to put them together, right? That's also increased, right? So there are more pending sales, which means homes are going as they come onto the market, right? And currently, we only have a 2.6 month of supply for buyers to be able to go out there and find it. So if no new houses come on the market, right, in 3 months, we won't have any houses to sell, right? So that's something that you'll have to understand. Overall, the amount of homes being sold has decreased, but I think that that's due to a lot of different factors. Now, I wanted to say that in my specific market, right, in my specific market, which is Hennepin County, right, um, we've seen a pretty good shift. My thoughts are is that the shift. So we were at about, I want to say, about a $400,000 average price, and or 405 ish, and it's dropped down to about 400. And we seeing like the days on the market also increasing, right? So the some of the data that we have shows that we are currently, like, the number of new listings, right, for example, is 2.6%. um, and the number of closings have decreased by about 8%, right? So to back up, right, in Hennepin County, the medium sales price was 415 April 2025. Currently, it's at about 400,000. So that's about 3.6% decrease in price, specifically in Hennepin County. And then when it comes to, month of supply, year over year, right? In 2025, it was at 2.4 and now it's at 2.6. So, I mean, technically still, right? 3 months of supply. And then after the 3 months, we're pretty much done, right? So my thoughts are is that it depends on your price range, right? So if you're in between 300,000 and 450,000, you're kind of in that green area where everything's still selling pretty quickly and everything's still selling pretty fast. But if you're above 450, you're going to have to hold out a little bit longer. And those are the ones that are keeping the days on the market at that 57 mark that we were talking about earlier, right?
Mhm.
So that, I mean, that's what I'm seeing. What are you seeing in Milwaukee?
Yeah, so I mean, Milwaukee, we are somewhat still pretty competitive market. Our
Nice.
month of supply is a little bit lower. We're like around 2.2 in the Milwaukee area. Um, if you're looking at just like the city of Milwaukee proper, I mean, the median price is like 235,000, which is
Okay.
7% increase from last year. But if you're
Nice.
looking at the entire the suburbs included, right, the metro, you're looking at about 370,000, right?
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and then our active listings, just like you, our inventory's piling up now. So we're up to about almost 3,000 listings as of April. So that's
Okay.
up 22%. Um, our days on market are also climbing too, though, right? So not like as long, not as we're like about half of what you guys are. We're at 26 days on market, which is
Dude, that's like super short.
almost super short. Yeah, 18% increase, right? Um, our sales numbers are up too compared to last year. So we're around
Nice.
1355 in our area here. Um, but our inventory overall though is still like 25% short compared to the pre-pandemic levels. So historically we're still very short. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Um, yeah, I mean, if the house is clean, it's a good location, there's gonna be multiple offers on it, right? Um,
That sounds like it.
yeah, so I mean, at the same time though, it's not that market. It's not that type of market where sellers can just ask whatever they want and it's gonna move, right? You have to be strategic about it, um, right? Because if you list it wrong and your house sits, buyers are gonna be like, dude, what's wrong with this house, right? Um,
Mhm, mhm.
they're not gonna walk come see it. So, you know, it's still a good market for sellers, but you have to, respect the market and play it
Yeah.
correctly, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So, now that we bored everybody with all the data, right? So, I guess what do we do with this data, right? Does it mean that people should buy now, or should they wait?
I think it's always like we've said it before, right? If you're in a position, like let's say, for example, you don't own a home, you're paying rent. My thoughts are is that you should probably buy, right? If you're gonna wait for rates to drop, or if you're gonna wait for inventory to increase, or you're gonna wait for something to happen, there's gonna be something else that's gonna probably take place, right? And so, you know, could rates dip? I think it's totally possible, but it could also go up, right?
Mhm.
And like for all of my clients that they were waiting, like, look, I had a client that has been waiting for a year, right? He's like, oh, it's just not the right time. It's not the right time. I have a lot going on. And prices in the Twin Cities, although it says that it hasn't increased, his price range has, right? And
Mm.
so because his price range has increased, the cost of purchasing has increased by over 500 bucks a month. And he's like, Johnny, like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, yeah, I mean, we had this conversation a year ago. And he's like, man, like, if I don't do something now, I won't be able to do anything at all, especially with rates increasing, and prices kind of stabilizing where they are. Um, so that's my stuff. So basically, what I'm saying is that if you are for waiting, right, and you're
Mhm.
expecting the rates to dip, you're expecting more inventory to come, and you're expecting less pressure from the buyers, I don't know if that's gonna come. And then if you're against waiting, right? Then or like my thoughts are is that if you're against waiting, then you'll probably just buy as soon as you can, right? And for the right purposes. Usually, the reason would be family change, right? What is it? We talk about the reasons life changes, right?
Yep.
That is going to make you make decisions. So, for example, divorce, death. Um,
Diapers.
what was that?
Diapers.
Yep, diapers, more babies.
Diamonds.
All, what I missed that.
Diamonds.
What is diamonds?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The four
yeah,
Ds. The four.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have, I mean, if you have those things, right, you're gonna make a decision based on what your needs are. If you only have a one-bedroom apartment and you all of a sudden have twins, yeah, guess what? You're probably gonna be buying a house soon. Um, And if that's not the case, right? If that's not the case, then you can always make a decision to go and rent, and that's totally fine too. But when you're renting, then of course you're losing the money too. Now there is a balance to where renting is a good idea. Where it's cheap enough, you can save up, and you'll probably save up faster than if you were to buy a home. There is that possibility, but if that possibility is not there, then of course I recommend buying a house, right? So I think you don't just look at what the market's doing, look at what your specific needs are. And if your needs are to buy, then buy. Now, there of course is those that are super wealthy, right? And those guys are going to buy all the time, right? It doesn't matter what the market's going to be like, they're just going to
Rich people
buy.
problem. Rich people
Right.
problem.
They have to. They have to. And in fact, if the price of homes go down, they're just gonna buy more. Like,
I,
because
I
they have
wouldn't
to
know how that feels. You got to tell us how that feels, Johnny.
whatever, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, you have to buy. And so if you want to offset your taxes, the best way to do it, or and in my opinion, right? This is an opinion based. You got to talk to your CPA to find out if this is the best way for you. But my
Mm.
opinion, real estate is the way to go. So yeah,
Uh,
long-winded. Sorry, I didn't mean to be
I agree with you
long-winded.
there. I agree with you there. Real estate is probably one of the best purchases. Um, just listening to you talk, I think for me, just listening to you talk about interest rates and things like that, and the pricing, how prices are moving, how interest rates are moving. So from what I'm listening to you, I'm hearing prices are not going to change that much, right?
Mhm.
So if you're expecting prices to somehow come down to the point where it's significant, right? Meaning, I don't know, 10%, 20% reduction, right? Something like that to make it more affordable, then I don't see that happening, right? We don't see that happening. Inventory is too there's no inventory, right? There's no inventory.
Yeah. It's
So it's
not there
supply and
yet.
it's supply
I
and
don't
demand.
I
Yeah,
don't yeah, I don't
yeah,
see it coming, and it's not there
yeah.
yet. Yeah.
And so with that said, I mean, this is kind of the prices for homes, honestly, guys, it's probably the new normal. Um, there's not going to be a crash of that magnitude, right? And then as far as interest rates go, I mean, you can sit on the sidelines all day and watch them go up and down, just like stocks, right?
Mhm.
And you can kind of like guess, like, okay, is this the week I jump back in the market? Honestly, we work with so many buyers, and um, buyers are so rate sensitive when they're shopping, and it's like, well, do you realize that the rate that we pre-approved you at, it's not the rate you're getting, unless you have the house lined up ready under contract, right? And if you don't, then that's not the rate you're going to get, right? You wait a week later, you wait a month later, 2 months later. When you do find that home, you get under contract, the rate's different, guys. You know, um, so if you have to wait for the rates to come down significantly in order to buy, maybe you shouldn't buy, right? Just saying that, right? Like maybe buying is not in your future, right? Um,
Mhm.
if that's gonna make or break your decision is what I'm saying, right? If you can't afford it, right? That's really what it comes down to. Um, because the people who are buying, they don't care about what the rates are doing, right? That's the honest truth. Um, they know what the rates are gonna go up and down. They know what the home prices are, and that's what they can control. They can control how expensive a home they're buying, correct? So like when we talk to our clients all the time, it's like, well, if you can't afford this home, this area, then maybe you gotta reduce your standards a little bit, right? Go look in a different area that's a little bit more affordable, or move out a little bit further, right? A little bit more rural where the prices aren't so crazy, right? Sure, you're
Mhm.
gonna drive a little further, but you gotta compromise, right? So you gotta control the things you can't control. Stop worrying about things you can't, right? Is really
Yeah.
what
I'd like to add, like people wonder, like, um, when it comes to interest rates,
Mhm.
if your rate was at 5.75 and you bought a $450,000 house, you put 20% down, right? I'm just running numbers. Your monthly payment will be like, and versus one that's like 6.75%, your monthly payment difference, right, would be approximately like 235,000 or $235, right,
Mhm. Mhm.
a month. And
Yeah.
so that's a 1% increase difference on a $450,000 house with 20% down,
Yeah.
and you're looking at $235. Does
Mhm.
that make or break your life, right? Does your quality of life, should you put your kids in a better school district at 235 bucks a month?
Yeah, and
That it
that's a
I'm
question that people have to ask, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I've had buyers who said, I've showed them that, and there's like
Mhm.
a $200 difference, and they've said, "Yeah, I can't afford it at $300 more a month." I'm like,
Sell
"Dang."
your Tundra.
I was like, "Yeah, so that means you gotta make some adjustments in your life, right? Maybe you gotta cancel that
Exactly.
habit. Maybe you gotta stop going out, like, every weekend, maybe once a weekend a month, right? Like, you have to make adjustments in your life, in order for you to get the house that you wanna have
Or
for you, for your family, right?
yeah.
So
There are people, like, okay, so, I didn't come from, wealth, I came from poverty, right? So there are gonna be some people that cannot afford to buy a house, and like you said, if you're not ready yet, don't buy a house, right?
no, no.
Just you don't wanna put yourself in a bad situation where you buy a house and then something breaks down and then you can't afford to fix it, right? However, if you can afford it and you just don't have a house yet, it might be time, it might be time to go ahead and make that decision. So
Yeah,
I think quality of life trumps interest rate.
for sure, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like the American dream, right? Is to have a house, right? But
Mm,
same time, I mean, just by the fact of a family owning a home, like we talked about, what is it? The net worth of a homeowner is 40 times that of a renter, right?
yeah, no,
So
it's
the
it's
sooner you can,
astronomical.
yeah, the sooner you can get into a house, the better. And I think the question becomes, like you said, people who are still working their way up, right? Working on the climb, right? They may have a good enough job where they make good money every month, right? But they don't have the down payment. They don't have the savings, right?
Mhm.
Right? We run into that all the time. We're working with people like that all the time. And honestly, I mean, you don't need that much money to buy a house. I'm not going to sit here and say you need 0% down. We get you a house. I mean, there are ways we could, but honestly, you do need some money. I'm not going to flat out say you don't need anything, 0% down. You know, you need at least a couple thousand. Okay.
I mean,
So
we have examples where, if you're a veteran, right,
yeah,
and you have, eligibility and you get 100% financing
right,
and the seller is willing to pay for all the closing costs, where you get in with nothing, right? And sometimes, like, because you put earnest money down of $1,000, you get it back. Now, like, there's a like, I've put $100 for earnest money down and got my deal accepted before, but those are like almost impossible to do, right?
right.
Um, so like I agree with you. You need some kind of money just for that earnest money deposit. Above and beyond that, it depends on your specific scenario. So of course, get with a loan officer, have
Yeah,
that conversation, get with a loan originator, like myself or Lore, and take it from there, and then work towards it. If you do want to buy a house, let's work towards it, and let's get you in. And I can tell you that many of my clients that have made decisions to buy houses have moved forward with it. And I would say, um, 99% of all my clients are happy with their house, right? I think I only ever had one person that came back and was like, Johnny, like, this is like, we bought this house. We were in a rush. We were moving from one state to another and we kind of rushed it. So we want to sell it and buy a different house. And so they did, right?
uh,
Um, but like, outside of that one individual, that's never happened to me before. So,
yeah.
um, I think that, you probably won't regret buying a house, and having that specific lifestyle inside of the house, right? Um, that's my 2 cents about it.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of times, I think it's just expectations, right? I mean, obviously, everybody wants the best house, but you kind of do have to realize that everybody's situation is unique, and if it's a
Mhm,
good enough house, good enough location that works for you, and you're comfortable with that, get it, right?
mhm,
Um, and speaking towards the people who are more, not that high finances yet. And there's lots of great programs out there if you qualify, and if those programs still have grants available, right, Johnny?
mhm. Yep,
Just because they run out quick, right? Just the one in Minnesota, I saw somebody was a couple people were posting it up like crazy, and then all of a sudden it ran out, right? Money ran out.
yep.
Um, it was
So,
like 94,000, 95,000, something ridiculous.
yeah, in Ramsey County. Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep.
So, I mean, if you weren't prepared and you weren't talking to a LO like Johnny already and getting yourself qualified to be in the program, and you heard about last minute, well, too late. I mean, application money's gone. So, you know,
There look, there's tons of different ways that, like, look, here in Minnesota, we have Minnesota Housing, right? And
Mhm.
Minnesota Housing always has, um down payment assistant loans, right? So if you don't have the money, you can get an additional loan, assuming you qualify, right, to help for the down payment and the closing costs.
Mhm.
Now, not always is it going to cover everything. So of course, like you said, Laura, you should have additional funds.
Yep.
But I think that if you can save up about $10,000, right, you're probably going to be pretty solid, right?
Oh yeah.
Here in the Twin Cities,
Yeah,
you're
I
going to be
know.
pretty solid.
I think yeah, I mean, even Milwaukee, 5,000 would probably do it. honestly. Like minimum you could put up 5,000. You should be all right. And of
Nice.
course, you're not going to be buying like a $300 a house at that much, but you know,
Right. You can get
um,
in. That's what
you
we're
can get
saying.
it. Right,
Mhm.
right. And we do have lenders out there right now that I have a lender that can, just like you said, they will fund your down payment and your closing costs, right? So it'll
Nice.
be like
Nice.
a second, right? A second loan on top of your first loan, right? And of course you have to qualify. So that's kind of the hardest part is just qualify. And once you can qualify, then you're good to go.
Yep.
Um, one of our other lenders is offering 1.0 buy down, right? So meaning
Mhm.
the first year they're going to buy your rate down by 1%, and then after that the rate's going to go back to normal. So um, and that's a free buy down. The lender's covering it, so that's nothing out of your pocket. Usually, to do some kind of buy down, you as the buyer, you have to pay the discount points, right?
Mhm.
In this
Mhm.
scenario, hey, lenders are realizing that amount of borrowers are slowing down, so they're rolling out these programs to try to incentivize, right? Try and get these
Yep.
buyers in the door, right?
Yep.
So we have those programs for you. Now, what are you seeing, Johnny, on the out there in the actual streets, writing offers? Are you starting to see that sellers are giving up seller concessions, like seller credit back to the borrower?
So, I mean, like I said, it depends on the price range, right? So, if your
Right.
price range
Mhm.
is here in the Twin Cities, if your price range is between 300 and 450,000, you probably won't see that much, right? If you see any at all. But if you're buying above that, the likelihood is you'll get it. So I would say ask for it unless you're in a multiple offer situation. If you're in a multiple offer situation, the likelihood of you getting it is probably much less. But of course, talk to your real estate agent, right? They'll know your specific market and what's going on. What are you seeing?
No, yeah, I mean that's a great answer. Um, yeah, just like what you said. I mean, if you're trying to chase the brand new listings that everybody's also chasing, right? And there's multiple offers, the likelihood of a seller even having to offer such a seller credit, it's not going to work. It's not going to be there, right? I mean,
Mhm.
yeah. So when you're looking to buy a house, I tell my clients all the time, it's not just a matter of finding the right house. It's like a matter of finding the right seller, right? This right seller that's willing to
Mhm.
work with you, right?
Mhm.
And that goes a long way, right? That means we could set up the offer where you get seller credit back, and the seller's fine with that, right? Um, so that helps cover your closing costs. That helps cover certain things when you're buying a home, right? Um,
Mhm.
makes it more affordable for you, right? Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, when you're looking for a house, like I said, take a look at the ones that have been sitting a while. Sometimes the seller's probably just overpriced it, right? And
Yeah.
reality hits them. They're like, all right, fine, I got to cut my price, right? I'm gonna be willing to negotiate now. That ugly smell in the house, right? That I couldn't sell my house for. I'm gonna take care of that,
Yep.
or I'm
Yeah.
gonna give credit for that nasty carpet. All right, I'm gonna give some credit to repaint the house, right?
Yep.
So it takes time, man. It takes time for sellers to realize that their house is not the best as what they thought,
Mhm.
right? And it's natural, right? As a seller, I mean, you think your house is probably the best of the best, right? But when the market speaks, you better be willing to listen. And if you don't listen,
Yep.
then your house is not going to sell, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
unless your house is in tip-top shape,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna take
Right.
some time to sell. Yeah.
Correct. Yep. And the market will tell you. I mean, if your home is
Mhm.
like fantastic shape, price right, you're gonna get 10 offers on the first day. I've seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And it still happens today. Um, so yeah, I mean, opportunities are coming, right? So just kind of recap, right? I mean, the the sky's not falling in real estate, right? There's a lot of noise out there. You have to understand um, what's really going on by talking to professionals who are actually out there looking at homes, who are actually out there writing offers of the homes in your area. Don't just follow the headlines, right? That's the biggest thing. And talk to a professional. They'll help you out. Listen, right? If you don't want to talk to one, go talk to two, three, right? And then find the one that you want to work with, right? Um, but yeah, any last words to recap?
Yeah. So I want to add something that we didn't talk about, right?
Mhm.
There are markets out there that are having a tough time right now, right? Selling.
Yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
so in those specific markets, and like I said earlier, we have a bunch of micro economies inside of the Twin Cities, right? So some
Mhm.
cities are selling like for uh actual value, and then some cities just for some reason are not selling as fast, and it could just be location, it could be job, it could be a billion and one things, right? So you have to take a look at it from your specific market. I know that the Florida market is still having a tough time in um like the like Kissimmee area, right? Kissimmee,
Mhm.
Orlando,
Cape Coral.
they're having a tough time. I know that Panama City Beach, one of my clients just reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, so yeah, from 2 years ago, the value of my property has decreased by $100,000, you know? And so if you have any investors that want to buy, we have a house, we're willing to let it go, right? Even if we took the loss, we're willing to let it go." And
Wow.
so um home prices have come down in certain markets. But I'm going to tell you that in the Midwest here, for some reason, our markets are still really, really strong, right? 2.5 to 3 months of supply is not enough for you to, as a buyer, to ask for the world. It's just not. Sellers won't do it. They're gonna wait. They're gonna hold out, right? Maybe at the 90-day mark, they might say, okay, fine, right? But um, those deals are hard to come by because houses are selling within that 2.5 month window. So
Mhm.
you probably won't see it in our market anytime soon, especially with being here in the because we're in the upper Midwest, right? We're in markets that have snow, and people don't go out as often to go look at houses during the winter. And now summer is here, so everybody's kind of jumping back in. However, whether that's true or not, we do see, or I see in the Twin Cities a little bit of a decrease in the amount of buyers just because of the um, the economic uncertainties, right? So um, take it for what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think some of those markets you mentioned, right, like Florida, um, the reason they're seeing the things that they're seeing is because they had a really inflated, crazy buying market, right? Or where
Oh yeah.
lots of buyers out of state were throwing money at these properties, right? Especially in the Disney area, Cape Coral area, Miami
It was an
area.
Airbnb rush. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
correct, correct. And we see this all the time in these markets where it's a boom and bust type market, right? And so when the buying's good, prices are going to be good. But
Mhm.
when it's in the bust cycle, well, a 10% correction over there is pretty normal.
Right.
Right. Uh,
Right.
so yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what we're seeing. But regardless, I mean, the opportunities are coming, guys. Whether you're in our market or markets like Florida, markets like Vegas, right? Even parts of Texas. They're even Austin in Texas, which is really good city. Um, they're flooded with inventory. They can't move them. Right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it opportunities out
It's
there.
time to
You just
buy
have to
over
be
there.
ready. Yeah, yeah. You just got to be ready, right? And
Yeah.
you gotta know what you want, and you got to be ready to go. Really, is what it comes down to. So hopefully this episode helped clear things up for you if you're kind of lost with all the headlines and trying not to lose your head about buying, right? Don't take it too seriously. Don't go to too many extremes. So figure out what you want, figure out what you can afford, stick to your plan, right? And be ready when the opportunity comes. Really is what it is. And that's what I tell people. Interest rates are going to do their thing. Hopefully you find that house and hopefully everything lines up correctly, right? By when that happens. But if it doesn't, as long as you can still afford it, man, you're still ready to go, right? So yeah, that's it for this episode. Before we head out here, we actually do have an event that we are working on. It's coming up soon here, next month in June, actually, about almost 30 days away, 32 days away. We're going to call it the Ninja Wealth Exchange Mastermind here, and it's going to be held in the Twin Cities on Friday, June 26th, thinking 9 to 4. So a little of a daytime activity. Essentially, it's going to be a little mini conference, just a couple speakers, couple sessions, some experts coming to share their knowledge, reveal their secrets about how to build wealth through real estate, right? And so if you follow the show, obviously you must be interested in building wealth through real estate. If you're curious, if you're new to everything, right? You want to learn more, you want to connect with real people who think like you, people who are doing big things, right? And see what they're doing. Or if you're already experienced and you just want to, do the same thing, right? Keep connecting, keep growing, take it to the next level, scale bigger, right? This is definitely something that you should save. And we just put up the website today for registration. So let me share my screen for that. So I'll drop the link on our Facebook here, and you guys can sign up as well. So can you see? Oh, here we go. Sorry. All right, here we go. So this is the registration link here. And so Friday, June 26th, 9 to 4 is what we're thinking. We're still working the location. We're going to finalize that sometime here. Got some early bird prices going up for sale. Buy one, get one free if you want to bring somebody. And yeah, so here's some of the sessions we're thinking about doing. Right. So if you're newer or if you haven't done your first property yet, you've been a little bit scared, well, no worries. We got you covered. We're going to have a session on a 90-day roadmap for you to buy your first investment property. And this could also mean like, hey, if you're trying to diversify to another market, right? How do you do that, right? So we're going to go through all of that. You can implement that strategy to help you to get into other markets because Florida is such a hot topic, right? And because both of us are in the snowy cold markets, right? And I know a lot of our listeners are too. So if you're like me and you're sick of the cold and snow, Florida's calling. So we're gonna have a special local Florida native come up, and she's gonna talk to us about, hey, what's really going on? Is it actually a good time to buy down there? And what are the markets that we should be looking at, right? So that'll be very interesting if you're, looking for that second home, that vacation home or future retirement home, or just an investment property, right? If you want to have some tax savings, right? Like Johnny said, real estate is where you're going to save a lot of taxes. So, and then underwrite deals like a pro. So this session, we're actually going to show you, we're going to hold your hand, show you exactly how to underwrite a deal, right? How do you know what's a good deal, what's a bad deal? That's very important because I don't know if you've ever heard that, but you make your money when you buy. Is that true, Johnny?
Absolutely. 100%, dude. 1000%, dude.
99%, maybe the 1% you get left. But yeah. So we're going to teach you how to underwrite some deals. Johnny is an expert. He's a former underwriter. And he used to do a lot of loans for short-term rental outfit, right? So if you can't underwrite a multifamily long-term investment deal the same way you do a short-term rental, right, Johnny? It don't work.
No, you can't.
So
completely different.
Completely different. So Johnny underwrites short-term rental deals all the time. And so he's going to show us like, hey, how does that work, right? So make sure that your loan gets approved, your property gets approved by your underwriter and your lender team. So we'll show you that. And then the wealth building secrets of the rich and the famous, right? How do these billionaires avoid paying taxes? how do they keep growing their wealth, right? So those are some topics we're going to be talking about in that session. So if you want to know the secrets, you got to be there. And then we're going to have a session on how to build wealth as a real estate professional, right? As an agent, right? If you think the agent world is just selling homes, you're missing out on a lot of money and a lot of opportunity, right? So we're going to have a guest speaker share with us how he's leveraged his agent license to build real wealth and financial freedom. So if any of these topics are of interest to you, if it calls out to you, right, we'd love to see you in the room with us. And early bird tickets, like I said, $50 right now, limited time. So anything you want to add, Johnny?
No, I think that the event is going to be crazy awesome. The information is going to be crazy awesome. The people that are going to be coming are likely going to be like-minded individuals that's going to be able to level you up, people that you might be able to partner up with, whether they be wholesalers, whether they be investors, whether they be contractors, whether they be property managers. I mean, if we can get some of these people to come in to help you with your business, that's what we want to do, right? We want to help you guys grow from a real estate investment perspective. There are things that are going to be taught, especially the wealth building secret for the rich and famous, dude. Like, you can't miss it. If you want to know how the rich people become wealthy and stay wealthy and will be wealthy for a long time to come, um, you're gonna want to see that. In addition to, if you're an agent, you're gonna want to be here so that you can learn how, like, there's been talks, a lot of things have been going on in the agent world, right? We saw, is I believe it was Compass, like, buy out a huge other uh corporation, which they turned into a conglomerate. We saw, um EXP bought out Next Home. We saw, uh uh what is that, Real buyout Remax, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, like, there's a lot of things coming into the real estate industry, and I truly believe that all of the small brokers are probably going to be disappearing. Because if anybody wants to build a successful team, you're going to be going towards this direction. I've seen a lot of, like, even like within the last couple of years, I used to be with a company called uh, um, Realty Group, and they merged with a company called LTP, which is a rev share based system, right? So we have all of these new organizations that are buying out all of these current organizations, and this is like LTP and Realty Group. Realty Group is a small firm specifically around here in the Twin Cities. They're massive here, but they're really, I think they only have one or two other markets. They're not really big in the other markets, and they're getting bought out. And so when you look at it from all these different perspectives, I think that you need to come and you need to hear out what's going on and how your industry is changing, right? So not only are we going to be talking about wealth, we're also going to be talking about, agent success. We're going to be talking about, real estate investing. Come out, you'll learn a ton.
All right. We'll see you guys there. We'll drop the links on our Facebook, on our Instagram, things like that. So watch out for that. We'll see you guys hopefully in the room with us in June 26th here coming up. And if not, we'll see you earlier in the next episode next week here. So have a good one, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and share with any other people that might be interested in building wealth through real estate. So have a great night. Later.
All right. See ya.